Luai, I'll start with you because it does seem on this dreadful day as though we're at some kind of crossroads. Two very different versions of the Middle East standing before us. A backward, jihadist, barbaric Middle East, the likes of which we saw on October 7th, or a peaceful, prosperous region based on trade, mutual interest and tolerance. Luai, your thoughts on that?
First of all, Laura, let me just say this to the citizens of Israel on the first anniversary of October 7th to renew my and my fellow Arab peace activists' commitment to peace and to stand with humanity against barbarism. It's not Israel against Hamas. It's Israel against the evil forces, the dark forces of evil. And we are so proud that we chose the right side of history on this. That's first. Second of all, yes, I agree with you, Laura. There are two Middle Easts, not one Middle East. And that was actually pointed out by many experts in the region. They said there are two Middle Easts, a prospering, a thriving Middle East, and a backward Middle East. And the good news is everyone is becoming aware of what Iran and its proxies really want to drag the current Middle East into. They want to drag the Middle East into dark ages, and they want to exploit it with violence, mayhem, devastation. And this Middle East, no one really accepts. And hopefully, the Middle East that we believe in will prevail eventually. I know it's really going through hard times, but I can assure you, Laura, from someone in the region monitoring the situation here in the Gulf and in the Arab states, the awareness of people towards what's happening in the region is becoming more and more tending towards the thriving version of the Middle East.
Thank you, Luai. Ruth, are you hopeful on this terrible day when we remember all of those lives lost in the most brutal way possible? Are you hopeful that that future for the Middle East is still possible?
First of all, I'm very honored, Laura, to have Luai co-share the screen with me. I know Luai, and I commend and I salute your courage that despite the way that you've been brought up believing one thing and all sorts of images regarding the Jewish people in Israel, you've educated yourself and you've brought really so much light to so many people in the world. It's not a given, and I absolutely truly commend that courage. And why do I say that? Because people like Luai, despite the fact that there are relatively few, I'm talking about such courageous people that are willing to say something that not many people in the Arab world yet are willing or ripe to hear. That gives me hope. And having said that, I must say another thing. The situation in the country is not easy. As a mother to 4 children, several days ago, having sat in the shelter, waiting for hours for the Iranian ballistic missiles, which is it's a real reality, to complete, and also fearing the fact that there would be a Palestinian infiltration from the West Bank. I live very close to the West Bank in Israel proper, undisputed Israel, but in the narrow waist of Israel. I felt that a two-state solution is perhaps a very faraway dream. What I do think regarding the Abraham Accords, the 4-year anniversary of the Abraham Accords, is that if Israel will have the upper hand in terms of its security, because we truly, in my humble opinion, and I believe in the opinion of many others at this particular stage in the war, we cannot really allow ourselves to turn our back. We have to have eyes in our back and make sure that our civilians are safe from radical Islamists, not from all Muslims, God forbid, but from radical Islamists, which have a tendency to take over, disintegrate countries in the region and simply take over, whether it's Qatar, whether it's the Iranian regime and their proxies. But if we do have our upper hand in terms of security, and we do have the buffer zones allowing for civilians to live peacefully, then a comprehensive agreement can be reached with international, let's say, promises. But it's very tough. We need the UAE and we need Saudi Arabia. And we can perhaps speak of a Palestinian state, but only in a decade after the re-education of an entire people can displace the indoctrination and the hatred.